You've always been told you're smart, but you can't finish things. You lose your keys constantly. You zone out in conversations, not because you're bored, but because your brain just went somewhere else entirely. You thought this was a personality flaw, a lack of discipline, something wrong with you. It might not be any of those things. Hi, I'm Hana, and welcome to Mind Bloom. Today we're talking about ADHD in adults, specifically the signs that almost nobody talks about. Not the stereotypes, not the kid bouncing off the walls. The quiet, invisible version that millions of adults are living with right now without knowing it. Here are 12 signs that might finally explain a lot. Sign 1. You struggle to start tasks, not finish them. People think ADHD is about not being able to focus. But the real problem is often getting started. A task that should take 5 minutes sits untouched for hours. Not because you're lazy, because your brain can't find the entry point. This is called task initiation difficulty, and it's one of the most misunderstood parts of ADHD. The moment the task is urgent, a deadline, someone waiting, suddenly you can do it instantly. That's not inconsistency. That's a brain that runs on urgency instead of intention. Sign 2. Your emotions are more intense than other people's. You don't just feel disappointed. You feel devastated. You don't just feel excited. You feel like you might burst. And when someone criticizes you, even gently, it can feel like the ground is falling out from under you. This is called Rejection Sensitive Dysphoria, and it's one of the least known but most impactful aspects of ADHD. The emotional regulation system in an ADHD brain processes feelings at a higher intensity and with less ability to dial them down. This is called Rejection Sensitive Dysphoria, and it's one of the least known but most impactful aspects of ADHD. The emotional regulation system in an ADHD brain processes feelings at a higher intensity and with less ability to dial them down. You can't focus on the report that's due, but you just spent 4 hours reading about a topic you stumbled across online and lost track of time completely. This is called hyperfocus, and it's actually one of ADHD's superpowers in the right context. The ADHD brain doesn't have a deficit of attention. It has difficulty regulating where attention goes. When something captures genuine interest, it doesn't just focus, it locks in. Sign 4. You have a complicated relationship with time. You either have too much time or no time, nothing in between. A meeting in 2 hours means you can't do anything until the meeting happens. You consistently underestimate how long things take. And you are almost always running 5 minutes late, no matter how early you plan to leave. Psychologists call this time blindness, and it's a core feature of ADHD. The ADHD brain experiences time differently. It lives into time zones, now and not now. Everything that isn't happening in the immediate moment is essentially invisible to it. Sign 5. You have a messy relationship with sleep. You can't fall asleep at a normal time even when you're exhausted. Your brain won't quiet down. Then when you finally do sleep, you can't wake up. And when you're sleep deprived, which is often, every ADHD symptom gets dramatically worse. The ADHD brain has a dysregulated circadian rhythm in many people. It takes longer to wind down, produces melatonin later than average, and often doesn't feel truly alert until late in the day. This is not laziness, it's neurology. Sign 6. You lose things constantly. Your keys, your phone, your wallet, objects that you just had in your hand 30 seconds ago. You've developed elaborate systems to try to keep track of things, and you forget to use the systems. This happens because working memory, the brain's ability to hold information active while doing something else, is significantly impaired in ADHD. It's not carelessness. Every time you put something down, your brain simply doesn't file that information the way other brains do. Sign 7. You interrupt people, not to be rude, but because the thought will be gone if you don't say it. You have a great point to add to the conversation. You know it's coming up, you try to hold it. But by the time the other person finished speaking, the thought has evaporated. So you've learned, over time, to say it when it arrives. This is impulsivity at the cognitive level. The ADHD brain has a shorter window between thought and action, and a less reliable short-term memory to hold ideas in. The interrupting isn't disrespect. It's a racing brain trying not to lose something it knows it can't retrieve. Sign 8. You experience chronic low-level guilt and shame. You know what you need to do. You can't make yourself do it. You've let people down, including yourself, repeatedly. And you've spent years being told to try harder, be more organized, just focus, as if the problem were effort rather than neurology. That accumulation of experiences creates a specific kind of shame. A deep, pervasive sense of being fundamentally flawed. Of never living up to what you know you're capable of. Many adults with undiagnosed ADHD spend decades believing that they are the problem, when in fact, they simply have a brain that has never been properly understood or supported. Sign 9. You have a million unfinished projects. Books you started and never finished. Hobbies you were passionate about for 3 weeks and then abandoned. Business ideas that never got past the planning stage. Creative projects that were half-built and then left untouched for months. This is the ADHD interest cycle, intense excitement at the beginning of something new, because novelty activates the ADHD brain's reward system. And then, when the novelty fades and the work becomes routine, the brain loses interest just as suddenly as it found it. The projects aren't abandoned because you stopped caring. They're abandoned because the dopamine ran out. Sign 10. You talk to yourself a lot. You narrate what you're doing. You rehearse conversations. You think out loud, sometimes without meaning to. And you often don't know what you think about something until you've said it, or written it, or explained it to someone else. This is because the ADHD brain uses external speech as a tool to regulate attention and working memory. Talking through things keeps them active. It's a coping strategy that many adders develop without ever understanding why, because it actually works. Sign 11. You're either all in or completely disengaged. There is very little middle ground. A project is either something you can't stop thinking about or something that doesn't exist in your mental landscape at all. A relationship is either your entire world or has completely fallen off your radar. This is called the ADHD interest-based nervous system, and like neurotypical people who can engage with something on a spectrum of motivation, including things they don't particularly enjoy, the ADHD brain requires a specific kind of activation. Interest, urgency, challenge, or passion. Without one of those four, engagement is nearly impossible. Not because of attitude, because of brain architecture. Sign 12, you've always felt like you were working twice as hard as everyone else for the same results. You've developed elaborate coping mechanisms. You make more lists than anyone you know. You set 10 alarms. You've learned to use urgency and pressure as tools because they're the only things that reliably get your brain to cooperate. And you're tired, not from laziness, from the constant effort of managing a brain that doesn't run on the same operating system as everyone else around you. How many of those 12 signs felt familiar? If you recognized yourself in several of them, especially the ones that nobody talks about, the ones that aren't on the standard checklists, I want to say something important. This is not a video that can diagnose you. Only a qualified professional can do that. But what I hope this video can do is give you language, give you a framework, give you the beginning of a different story about yourself. Because here is what decades of research tell us about adults who are identified with ADHD later in life. The most common thing they say when they finally understand what's been happening is not relief, actually. It's grief for all the years they spent thinking they were broken. All the times they were called lazy, irresponsible, flaky, careless, when they were simply living in a world that wasn't built for how their brain works. ADHD is not a disorder of intelligence or character. It is a difference in the brain's executive function and dopamine regulation. And it is one of the most misrepresented, most misunderstood, and most underdiagnosed conditions in adult medicine. If you recognized yourself in this video, 3 things. 1. Get evaluated. Find a psychiatrist or psychologist who specializes in adult ADHD. A proper assessment changes everything. Not because a diagnosis fixes anything, but because understanding what you're actually working with allows you to work with it, instead of fighting yourself. 2. Be patient with your past self. The things you didn't finish, the things you forgot. The times you let people down despite genuinely trying, those weren't moral failures. They were a brain doing its best without the right support. And 3. Know this. The same brain that struggles with routine and deadlines and losing your keys is also the brain that hyperfocuses with extraordinary intensity, makes unexpected connections, thinks outside structures that other people can't escape, and often produces the most creative and unconventional solutions to difficult problems. ADHD is a different brain, not a lesser one. If this video helped you see yourself or someone you love more clearly, please share it. Tag someone who needs to see this. I'm Hana. See you in the next one. Take care.